That occurred this morning in our city's Como Park neighborhood. Just before 9 a.m., officers were dispatched to a shipping warehouse on the 1700 block of Wynne Avenue for a report of a woman on fire. When officers arrived at the scene, they located a woman in her 40s, unresponsive, not breathing, and appeared to have been badly burned. Officers secured the scene to make it safe for St. Paul fire medics to come in. Medics responded and unfortunately pronounced the woman dead at the scene. The Ramsey County Medical Examiner's Office will take custody of the victim's body to conduct an autopsy to determine her exact cause of death and positively ID her. A team of homicide investigators were called in to respond and have been working this case since this morning. Our forensic services unit responded and will process the scene for any evidence. Officers were able to quickly identify a suspect that had been in a previous relationship with our victim. They were in communication with Bloomington Police Department because they were able to determine the suspect resided in the city of Bloomington. This morning, Bloomington Police Department arrested the suspect a short distance away from his home, which was on fire. Any questions regarding that arrest or specifics about the fire, I would direct you guys all to contact Bloomington Police Department, of course. The suspect was transported to the St. Paul Police Department headquarters, where he's been interviewed by homicide investigators, and he will be booked at the Ramsey County Jail for murder. In the release, I have his name. Any updates along with the victim's identification will be released on our department's Twitter page at SPPDMN. And this is the 11th homicide this year for St. Paul. What I'd like to say is calls like these are absolutely shocking and devastating. I don't have the words for this. I just know that this senseless act of violence will cause ripples of grief and pain to the victim's loved ones and family. We're thinking of them today. I'd also like to recognize the notable work of the dispatchers at the ECC, our officers at the scene, and our investigators, and the great communication and partnership with the Bloomington Police Department. All of that notable work resulted in the quick apprehension of this suspect today. And I could take some questions.
Were there co-workers as well as the previous relationship?
You know, I haven't confirmed that, so I'm just going to wait for us to get all that accurate information from the investigators.
But they were romantically, or they were involved?
We were able to confirm that they had been in a previous relationship.
Could you talk about the scene there? We weren't able to see much. Was it inside the warehouse? Was it in the parking lot?
It was inside the warehouse. As for the specifics, I just don't have them, Eric.
Who called 911?
Someone inside the warehouse called 911, and I can add to that there were witnesses inside the warehouse at that time, and numerous witnesses were transported to headquarters and were interviewed by our homicide investigators.
How many? Like a couple dozen?
Less than a couple dozen. I'm guessing I can say more than two.
So it's my understanding that the suspect drove in there and then did this.
I don't know how the suspect got there.
She died there? Like she was attacked there and died there?
That's right. Yep, it all occurred at the warehouse.
How did they piece together the relationship between the victim and the man?
I'm not sure. I guess what I would assume is that this is through witness interviews. You know, the officers on scene obviously knew how to ask the right questions, and we have a stellar team of homicide investigators that I'm sure asked those questions of the witnesses.
Sergeant, this is obviously something that you're sensitive about and that is upsetting to you. Is it something specific about this case, or just these domestic homicides, or just what is it?
I think someone lost their life in a terrible way today. So I think just being a human being and empathetic to what grief feels like, I think it's devastating. I also was able to talk to, our homicide unit commander, and it's devastating for the investigators that are working that case. So I think I just probably feel a lot of different emotions.
Are you able to share anything else about the victim? If she has any other family, any children, anything like that?
I don't have any of those specifics, sorry.
Where in
Can
the
you just talk
building?
about what happened in Bloomington? Did he surrender? Was there a struggle?
I have none of those details. That's why I'm referring you guys to talk to Bloomington for those details.
Where in the building did this happen? Was it in the office or was it?
Don't know. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Hi.
Thank you.
Sorry. I made my way around. Anybody else need one? Want one? No? Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.